From the Oklahoma newsroom, this is the Press Row. I'm Jenni Carlson here with Barry Tramel, and we're brought to you by Papa John's Pizza. You can go online anytime and order your pizza at papajohns.com. Time for our We Pick 'em segment. We've got 5 games, all on the hardwood. And Barry, let's get right to it with the Thunder getting back on the hardwood after the All-Star break. The Mavs come to town Thursday night, 7 o'clock. Who you got in this one?
Well, I'll take the Thunder. I think Oklahoma City playing well going into the All-Star break. No reason to think they won't be playing well coming out of it. Dallas, good solid team. I mean, they've added, the legendary Amari Stoudemire. So, I mean, the NBA title's in their future, I'm sure. But, I mean, they're a good solid team in Dallas. I don't think they're the Thunder's quality, though. And I think the Thunder's on the rise. I expect Thunder to take care of the Mavericks. Yeah,
and you know what? I think so, too. I think the Thunder wins this game on home court. I think the fans will be excited to see the team return to action. I think the energy will be good. But I think the Thunder, as a franchise, has got to see that they've still got ground to make up. I mean, I think a lot of us thought once all these guys got healthy, they'd, probably pick off a spot or so in the standings every month. And, here we are. It's February, and they're still out of the playoffs. They're not in that 8th spot yet. So they've got work to do, and they're going to have to win games at a pretty good clip here. No reason to think that a game against a team they should beat at home isn't a game that they won't win. All right, another one, Barry. Let's go to the college hardwood. OU men versus Texas Tech. That's an 11 o'clock start on Saturday. Who you got winning this one?
Well, I'll take the Sooners. Now, it's a cautionary tale because anything can happen on the Big 12 road. Iowa State went to Lubbock and lost. OSU went to Fort Worth last Saturday, lost to TCU. But the last time these teams met in Norman, it was one of the biggest demolitions I've seen in the college game in a long, long time. The Sooners won by, I think it's 48-point margin. And Sooners are playing for something. They're still basically in the running for second place in the Big 12. The Tech's playing out the string. It won't be easy. It's never easy on the road, but I do think the Sooners will win in Lubbock.
Yeah, I'm going to go with OU on this one as well. And, I do think it's a little bit problematic. OU's had some up and down strings, some games that you would think they'd really be gung-ho to go in there and get, and they've not won. We saw them have a little bit of a struggle against Texas on Tuesday night, maybe more than a little bit, maybe a lot of a struggle against Texas at home on Tuesday night, but they came out with a victory, and they've got to see that there's still some jockeying for position in the Big 12. Kansas losing to West Virginia, so there's a chance they could work their way up. And if you get in one of those first 2 spots in the league standings, it means you get a bye at the Big 12 tournament. So I think there's a lot of motivation for them to get into one of those spots. So I think the Sooners win at Texas Tech. All right, Barry, what about the OSU men? They are hosting on Saturday, 1 o'clock, West Virginia. Who you got in this one?
I'm going to take the Cowboys. West Virginia playing well. They, as you mentioned, they beat Kansas. But the Cowboys are overmatched against a lot of teams. Travis Ford's sort of shuffling cards just to make this team work and has done a very good job. But in terms of matchups, West Virginia is actually a good matchup for OSU because West Virginia brings the pressure. And the one thing Oklahoma State does well as an offense is handle the ball. Anthony Hickey, excellent ball handler. Phil Forte, excellent ball handler. Jeff Newberry is solid. He's a combo guard. He has played the point. So this is a team that can handle the ball. I think the Cowboys will be able to handle West Virginia's pressure. I'll take Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Cowboys in this one as well. And it won't be easy because I do think you're matching strength against strength, guard-oriented teams in this one on Saturday. But, much like OSU's had a couple bumps in the road, and I think that bump at TCU, which you mentioned earlier, Barry, is a reminder to these Cowboys that they're going to have to play to their identity, which is scrappy, which is tough. I think they're going to get back on that roll this week. Now, at this taping, they haven't played Iowa State. That's a Wednesday night game. And I think especially if they, maybe if they struggle against Iowa State, the motivation to get one of these 2 this week will be even more heightened against West Virginia on Saturday. So I think Cowboys will be motivated. I think they get that W on Saturday afternoon. Let's go back to the NBA. And this one is a road game for the Thunder. They go to New Orleans to face the Hornets. 7 o'clock on Saturday night. Barry, who are you taking in this one?
Well, I was actually going to make a joke about confusion, and you made the joke for me. They're playing Charlotte, not New Orleans. Oh. The Hornet. It's impossible to keep who these teams are.
You're right.
Because the Hornets were in New Orleans, then they came to Oklahoma City, they went back to New Orleans, then they changed the name to the Pelicans. Charlotte used to be the Hornets, moved to New Orleans. Charlotte said, you know what, we like the name, give it to us back. They're playing Charlotte.
I haven't done that all year. Can I just say this is a first?
You know what? I actually typed a blog this week in which I used Pelicans about 10 times, and I got it right every single time, and I was so proud of myself. Very confusing.
Sports writer drama, that's what this
Charlotte
is.
And the Charlotte Hornets had a good team when they had Larry Johnson and Alonzo Mourning and Kendall Gill and that crowd.
Last I checked, they don't have those.
They don't have those guys. I think they're 21 and 31. I think it's 22 and 31. It's not a very good team. Thunder should go out to Charlotte and take care of those guys. Now, if they go to New Orleans to play the Hornets, they will have to scramble and get a flight to Charlotte because the Pelicans have no interest in playing the game on Saturday night against Oklahoma City.
Split squad. No split squads. Yeah, I think Oklahoma City gets this one done. And again, motivation to have a good, solid run of wins as they come out of the All-Star break. Thunder knows they've got to make up ground. You don't want to play against teams that you're better than and lose, even if they're road games. Definitely motivated to get that done. Thunder gets it taken care of on Saturday night. All right, Barry, let's look a little bit ahead into next week, but we want people to be able to plan because this might actually be a pretty interesting game. Baylor OU women. The Bears come to the Lloyd Noble Center next Wednesday night. That's a 7 o'clock start. Who are you going to take in this one?
I'm going to take Baylor. The world, as everyone should have known, has turned cold and dark. Baylor women do not lose in the Big 12. Actually, West Virginia got them last year, but the great OU-Baylor women's basketball rivalry has gone one-sided over the last 4 or 5 years, and it goes far beyond Brittany Griner. Last year, Odyssey Sims was still around. Griner was gone. Baylor still dominated. Now Sims is gone. Baylor's still going to dominate. It's a Kim Mulkey world in Big 12 women's basketball. Baylor's going to win in Norman.
Yeah, Baylor's really good, and I think it's basically just time to come to grips with the fact that this is a program that for the foreseeable future is going to be a force to be reckoned with, not just in the Big 12 but nationally. There's a NCAA regional here in Oklahoma City that's going to determine a Final Four team. I wouldn't be surprised to see Baylor come out of that regional. So I think it looks to me like Baylor and Oklahoma are the line of delineation in the Big 12, but then the line of delineation between Baylor and OU looks to be pretty clear. Baylor is an excellent team. I think they win next week in Norman. Be sure to stay with the best coverage team anywhere at newsok.com and every day in the Oklahoma.